Hello, everybody. Good morning. I'm Fernanda from Information Planet Adelaide. We are going to talk today about the Australian borders that are finally opening for international students. I'm very happy to be here with you guys and share all the information we have at the moment. I've invited Alexandra Casanotti from 7 Migration, so she also can help us to understand whatever is gonna happen from now on. So thank you, Ale, for coming.
Thank you for the invitation. Hi guys, good morning, good night, I don't know where you are.
So you wanna introduce yourself? I don't know if everyone
I don't know if you know me. So my name is Alexandra. I am from 7 Migration and I am a migration agent here in Adelaide office. So I'm here with Information Planet and Fernanda, so we can clarify a bit more all this big news that we have received this week.
Yeah. So I'm very, very excited to be sharing this news with you. So it's official now, Ale. The borders will open for international students, right?
Right, that's correct. From December 1, the borders will be opened, and of course, everyone that has a valid visa, student visa, and other holders will be able to come back to Australia or come for the first time. But we are opening.
So basically, who can come?
So,
apart from the international students that we already know and are very excited.
So from 1st of December, anyone who has a visa granted, that is a student, an international student visa or a graduate visa or other skilled visas will be able to come to Australia.
There's a list on...
Yeah, we have a list on our, at the 7 Migration Instagram on our bio, and you can check there the whole list of the visas that will be able to come.
Awesome. And are tourists allowed to come? Are tourist visa included in that list?
Unfortunately, tourist visas are not included in that list. However, we do have some bubbles with a few countries. So if you are from New Zealand, Singapore, Japan, or Korea, you will be able to come on a tourist visa. Actually, in any visa. So.
Okay. So for Brazilians, Latin American in general, Europeans, just those...
Just the list, at least at this point. They have been sending so many information all this week.
Yeah.
We might have news today or next week, but for now, today, tourist visa holders are not able to come back or to come to Australia.
Except those in the bubbles.
Yeah, except the bubbles.
Yeah. We've got some questions from people that send on our Instagram. So I have one here. If I'm going to study English, can I still go to Australia?
Yes, sure. So what happens is any student visa, so doesn't matter if you are going to study English course, a vocational course, or higher education, will be able to come to Australia. Doesn't matter your course, okay?
Yeah. That's basically because for all courses, the visa number, the visa subclass
is the same. Exactly.
So, yes. If I'm in Australia under a bridging visa A for a student visa, and I want to apply for a bridging visa B to travel overseas, can I go and come back?
Well, these have been an issue this week because what happens is the Department of Home Affairs has not included in the list a bridging visa. So what happens is, if you are on a bridging visa, we don't know, even if you have the B, that is the one that you can travel to overseas, we don't know if you will be able to come back. They are still clarifying this. MIA is clarifying this for all the migration agents here in Australia. So we are just waiting for this clarification. But at this moment, I would say no, and I would recommend not to go. And if you go on a bridging visa, then you might need to wait until your visa is granted. So you could come
Come back to
to
Australia. So just for you guys that I'm not sure if you understand. So once you are in Australia and your visa is going to expire, we lodge your new visa application, then you will be what we call bridging visa. There is to give you the status to
Legal
be
status to be in Australia.
legally in Australia.
just to wait until
So-
your grant.
Yeah, the rule for this visa is that you can't travel overseas. So for that, we need an authorization, that is the bridging visa B that we've mentioned. And if it's granted, you can go and come back. But
In
as-
normal circumstances.
In normal circumstances,
But with
yeah.
the pandemic, unfortunately, we
Yeah.
don't have this information until this moment.
Awesome. How does the travel exemption work? So basically, now the borders are gonna open for those visa holders in the list.
In the list, yes.
What if it's a tourist visa that wanna come?
For now,
is it possible to apply for a travel exemption?
In this moment, for a tourist visa, I would only say that you will need a travel exemption to come, but only if you are a parent of an Australian citizen or a permanent resident. Otherwise,
Maybe essential work.
essential
But it's
worker,
not
no,
on a
because we'll be on the
student
list.
visa.
Yeah. So for now, I think the parents will be the only tourists that will need a travel exemption. Otherwise, the tourists from that other countries that don't need any travel exemption.
So basically, the person needs to have the visa granted and then apply for a travel exemption.
You can apply for a travel
Altogether?
exemption. Once you apply for your visa, then you apply for travel exemption, and this will make the department look into.
Oh, okay. For those students who are out of Australia, if I have my visa granted and valid, can I come the first flight on the 1st of December?
Well, it depends. Yes, you can come, but you will need to do a few procedures. You need to be fully vaccinated. You need to have applied for the declaration to
The
be
travel-
yeah. What's the name?
There's
I forgot
a
about it.
Travel. I don't remember now, but I think we are gonna have something.
Yeah, we have the
yeah.
link at the 7
Yeah.
view as well. But you will have to do this declaration. You need to be fully vaccinated at least 7 days before you travel. You will also need to do a test. But yeah, you will be able to come if you have a valid visa. And of course, if you are able to demonstrate that you have all these requirements, you should be fine.
For those on a student visa, when should my health insurance start?
Should start since the date that you arrive in Australia, for
Okay.
sure.
So, those students who had a visa granted and already have the health insurance, just make sure you send us the flight tickets. So if for any reason we need to update your health insurance, we can do that from our side here. Another question. I got stuck in Brazil and I deferred my course to start in June next year. My visa is already approved and valid. Can I come anytime from December 1st?
In this specific case, I would recommend that this person anticipate his course or her course. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, but anticipate the start of the course and enter Australia not earlier than 2 months
Of the start
of the course start. Yeah, especially because you cannot work until your course starts.
Yeah.
So this is really important.
Okay. What are the main requirements to come to Australia?
Yeah, so as I was saying before, you need to be fully vaccinated, at least with vaccines that are approved.
Approved.
I
That's
forgot to
very
say.
important
Yeah.
as well. That's the vaccines must be approved by Australian health.
Yeah, so it is on Seven Migration's Instagram bio. So if you want to check, you can check there all the vaccines that are approved. You need to have a PCR test negative, so a COVID test. 72 hours before your flight. You will also need that declaration.
The international certificate of vaccination.
Of vaccination as well. And
that Australian travel declaration.
Yes, that's correct. So this is the form that we were talking about. Needs to be 72 hours as well before your flight. Don't forget about it.
So these are the general rules for Australia, and then we'll need to look at the states.
Yeah, because what happens is
well.
the borders Australia can open, like the federal government can open, but then each state and territory might have their own rules, and they do have their rules. So at this point, only New South Wales, Victoria, and ACT are giving an exemption. You don't need to do a quarantine there if you arrive in any of these states.
So that's also linked to the next question. Do I need to do any hotel or home quarantine?
So yeah, it will depend in each state, because a few states will require it, and each state has their own rules. Seven Migration made a newsletter this week, and we included there each link for each state.
For each state.
Yeah, so then you can check which state you are going to come.
Okay. So yeah, yesterday Queensland announced that when they reach 90% of the fully vaccinated people, they will not require quarantine. So hopefully that will happen soon. I'm seeing Alex mentioning something about February. So yeah, basically what they said, that's when they reach 90%, the quarantine won't be necessary.
So just double check before you arrive.
It's very important to double check that. Now, let's say South Australia still requires quarantine for international arrivals, but the state opened the state border on Monday. This week, I think.
It was on Monday.
It was this week.
Yeah, it was on Monday.
Next question. If my visa has expired while I was overseas, what should I do?
Well, you definitely will need to reapply for a visa. If you don't have a visa that is approved, granted, you will not be able to come back to Australia. So
need to apply for a new visa and wait until
it's granted, and then you will be able to come to Australia.
Yeah. So also those people who were affected by COVID, immigration is waiving the visa fee.
Yes.
So for student visa, we just need a declaration, pretty much a declaration from the education provider, and it's pretty much very straightforward process.
Yeah.
And we also received the news for 485 visa, the graduate visa, yesterday.
They're going to
So they are gonna replace the visa.
But they haven't
don't
done
know that
the
yet.
legislation yet, but they will change it.
Awesome.
Lots of news this week.
Lots of news this week. So as we've mentioned about the state borders, we know that each state and territory, they can have their own rules and requirements.
Exactly.
So at this stage, only New South Wales, Victoria and ACT are open for international
without quarantine.
And the state borders inside Australia is also be tricky. WA is closed for some of the states.
Yeah, because they are considering hotspots. So will be
Victoria.
Yeah, even if you arrive in New South Wales and you don't need quarantine, if you need to go to WA or Queensland, you will need to check what are the requirements if you are in Australia.
Yeah, but also it's very, very important to also check all the states you are gonna pass
Yeah, well,
the
yeah,
rules.
yeah, because I have some flights or even car, yeah.
So as Ale mentioned, if we have another question about this, if I arrive in New South Wales, can I take a flight to WA?
Probably not straight
Prob-
away.
nor straight
You
away,
will need
yeah.
to check what's the requirement once you arrive here.
Yeah. And what are the accepted vaccines in Australia?
I will need to read it because I don't know by heart. So at this point, because they are checking other vaccines, but at this point it's AstraZeneca, it's Pfizer, Moderna, Sinovac, Covaxin,
Covaxin. Yeah.
then it's Sinopharm.
Sinopharm.
Sorry, we don't have this one here, so I'm not too sure if I'm saying correctly. Johnson and Johnson as well. I know they are checking other vaccines, and they already said, because we have many people that asked about it. Our clients in Brazil took, let's say, 1 dose of AstraZeneca and 1 dose of Pfizer. So they were mixing. So if you have this, don't worry. Australia already said if you have 1 dose of each, that's fine, but needs to be an accepted vaccine. You cannot have 1 dose of unaccepted vaccine and other that is recognized. Otherwise, you will not be able to enter.
And which countries are allowed to come to Australia? Is there any restriction about countries, or doesn't matter?
No, doesn't matter. Australia has not done any difference between countries. So if you are in Brazil or ever, and you have a valid visa in that list, you can come. Or of course, if you are one of the countries that we mentioned before, New Zealand, Singapore, Japan, and Korea, then you can come with any visa you might be holding. You will be able to come to Australia.
Awesome. I think we've already answered this. If I hold a student visa, can I go to my home country and come back? It's a valid visa, you can. You just need to pretty much check on flights.
Yeah, flights, especially because now we don't know how this will work, right? Is everything so new that we'll need to check how everything...
Also, always to be very careful with the state requirements as well.
Yeah,
when you come back, because this can change from time to time, so that it's very important you guys always check like very close to your flight if there's any new updates.
Yeah, from the state or from the federal government.
Are the applications for international students for those who are outside of Australia being processed?
They are, but they are taking a long time. We don't know now, especially because I think was last week I heard that they are trying to process as much as students' visa as they can. But we don't know how long it's going to take. Not at this moment. So if you want to apply for a student visa, apply as soon as you can, because it might take some time.
Okay. Are there any deadlines set for people on tourist visa to be able to come to Australia?
Unfortunately, at this moment, no. We don't have any idea when this is going to happen. So might be tomorrow, might be in 1 month time, might be in February. We don't know. But good news is Australia is opening.
It's opening, I think that's the most important. So that's the first big step. So now it's just a matter of time to have everyone being able to come back. Yes. If there's one last question that we received before, if I held in the past a bridging visa E, and now I'm overseas, can I still apply for a student visa?
Well, this will depend on your circumstances. What happens is will depend if you went overseas after a certain time. Your substantive visa, your visa was valid. So once your visa expired, you apply for a bridging visa E, and then if you went back to your home country in 28 days. Waiting,
might
right?
be able to
you might be able to
yeah.
apply. If not, probably you are barred from applying for any visa in Australia for 3 years.
Yeah, that's a bit tricky. I would recommend you to book an appointment.
Yeah, to check
and
your
discuss your very personal circumstances.
Yeah, and another thing is, look, Australia is doing lots of new legislation because they are aware that COVID hit and
affected
many people. So they might change this. So we are still waiting how this is going to work, but they might change something. If they change, then everything can be reviewed. Yeah.
So those are the questions that I had previously from our Instagram. Let me check if we have more questions. Which states will not be required to quarantine? So at the moment, only New South Wales, Victoria, and ACT. But we know that all other states are gonna change that as soon as they reach a certain percentage of the fully vaccinated people. So probably, as someone mentioned, Gold Coast, Queensland's gonna open not open, but not require quarantine anymore from February. I guess South Australia, it's gonna be late December, early January, if the people gets vaccinated sooner. And WA, I think, is also
March, I guess.
February, March next year. So that's just prediction.
Yes, and again,
depends on
we will need to wait what they will decide.
Depends on how fast the population get fully vaccinated.
Yeah.
One more question. Do you have some news about flights? So what we've heard that it's being very difficult to book flights at the moment. From Latin America, I think there's only option through Qatar or Dubai, or also through United States.
Yeah.
So there are few flight companies that are coming to Australia now. I haven't heard yet about Qantas or other companies, if they are gonna resume their flights to Australia from to Australia.
I think all news are so new.
Yeah,
that they need to
so new that
they will need to arrange. Like flights and how this is going to work.
It's a bit tricky at the moment because even though you have a flight booked, it can be cancelled because of any reasons. So yeah, we don't have many news, unfortunately, about flights. Any more questions, guys? Next year we can find more flights. Yeah,
absolutely. If I could recommend you to just wait a bit until everything's more clear, like the flights are resumed, everything's like flowing here normally, then you should come. And even like March, April, I think would be better, than before. Well, yeah, we will need to. Unfortunately, everything's so new that we will need to check how the things are really happening, as they are happening.
Yeah. What else, guys? If you don't have any other questions, we are gonna finish off for today. This live will be available on our Instagram, Information Planet Instagram. And if you need anything, you can always send us a message on Instagram, Facebook, give us a call at the offices. We have 7 offices here in Australia, so Adelaide, Perth, Sydney, Manly, Brisbane, the Gold Coast, and Melbourne. I think I didn't forget any. So if you guys have any questions, you can also contact us, our website. So Information Planet has also offices in other countries. You are more than welcome to send us any questions you might have.
Yeah, and if you want to plan any migration plan, then you can contact Seven. We have offices here in Adelaide, Perth, and Sydney, so you will be more than welcome.
And if you are not in Australia, you
We also,
still
yeah.
can do like online
Video
consultations.
calls, yes, definitely.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much, and hope to see you everyone here soon.
Bye. See you soon.
See you. Oh, turn this off.